Hi everyone, my name is Angela Hargrave. I'm from Australia, and today I've come into the wilderness to tell you a bit more about my experiences with the Cabal, my experiences with nature and the universe, my experiences with the divine. I have to read the rest of my testimony, and I'm going to follow my testimony because otherwise I just get too emotional. This ordeal, like I said, this reality, it's not as happy and planned out as everyone thinks it is. We can get there, but we need to be aware, and it's going to take someone to stand up for all the people that are too scared to stand up on their own, and that happens to be me. So I cut off reading yesterday. I thought I'd messed up my writing, but I thought I'd messed up the notes I brought with me, but I'd actually just messed up on my website. So I might fix that one day, I might not, it's just how it is. And so I'll just carry on from where I left off and talk a bit more as we go. So us light workers, people working for good, people trying to change the world for the better, we have been working hard to change things on the surface, and it's becoming evident in ways in which we have changed as beings and become more compassionate and caring about the world and its issues. The Cabal are still there, under the surface, like an undertow to the flow of this planet's ascension, and it has the ability to drag us all down. By sabotage and game fixing, they are used to having control, like puppeteers behind the curtains. Like I said, they take people, they make the good people unwell, and you say, why did the good die young? That's why, because the Cabal don't want us to be able to take control back. So these people worship the devil and the darkness of our psyche. The energy they thrive off is the dark energy of the ego. They control everyone with fear. Everyone's got fear, and they've got fear themselves. That's the thing. They're scared. They're scared of being found out for their darkness, because they don't exactly know that what they're doing is the right thing either. That is all there is. Ego left unchecked. That's all they are. Allowed to have free will with our souls. It is greed and self-serving behaviors. It is fear and narrow-mindedness. It is a part of everyone. Ego versus love. It is the battle for your soul, for you to find your higher self and become all that you can be. So how do you fight fear? With love. Brilliant, shining, pure, fearless love. The most important is love for self, and not through gaining power, but gaining peace. Through all this, the collective had pleaded with me not to give in to hate and darkness. All the things that I witnessed. It's enough. It's enough to turn someone. It's enough to make people hate. It's enough to make people crumble. It's enough to make anyone just want to curl up in a ball and end things. I'm only human. I'm emotional, I'm fearful, I'm grudge holding. I let the emotion come and go. My purpose is much bigger than my worries. I have to let the world know of its divinity and the threat to all of us. With love, becoming self-aware, if you are unwell or if your children are unwell and are showing signs of behavioural or autistic traits, take a look around you, an honest look around, and see who might be sabotaging your life and growth. And walk away. Have the strength to walk away, because that's the only way you're going to heal. That's the only way your children are going to heal, is if you walk away. And like I said, the only way they can hurt you is if you let them into your life, if you let them continue to be around you. Walk away from anything that doesn't serve you and your highest self. Do not keep feeding the beast with more souls. There is no future in it for any of us. Personally, as you can see by my testimony, I wouldn't call it living, having to be one of their fake people. I wouldn't be real, and I wouldn't be me. I'm risking persecution or worse, and being ostracized by family and friends who either don't believe or are part of the undertow that is trying to take us down. And I know I'm going to be called crazy. I'm going to be called crazy by the people that are asleep, because this is a crazy thing to think that the cabal have infiltrated society to a point where they've pitted man against man. Everyday people are killing off their loved ones and harming their loved ones for their own self-preservation. And I know I'm going to be called crazy by the people that pretend to sleep, because there's plenty of them. And they'd like to point the finger and make someone look the other way and go, no, she's the crazy one. And that's okay. I'd prefer to be called crazy, because right now I think this society we live in is insane. So I was your average person. I was asleep. I didn't do much, and I thought I was doing enough by recycling and, like pointing my finger at the sky and going, look at the chemtrails and what's going on in the world. But really, there's so much we can do. We have to share love to create love. We have to put our good energy out into the world to get more energy back from the universe. And none of this stuff I knew. This was all just information fed to me from the collective. And it's amazing, because I know there are a lot of enlightened people that understand about downloads and given signs and given directions and giving instructions in dreams. And it's been amazing. It really has. It's been amazing. And I thank the gods and I thank the divine. And I see them all around me, in nature especially, but even in the city. When I went to the city the other day, I can see it. I can see the good, and I can see the light, and I can see the dark. Sitting here, it's mostly light, it's mostly good. Maybe because there's no other humans around. So what they showed me, I have been shown about our chakras, and awakening our kundalini, about our forgotten energy that is inside all of us, and how we are so much more powerful than we think. How meditation is extremely important to raise our vibration and connect with the consciousness and our higher selves. To ask the universe for answers to our problems and come to the best solutions, heartfelt answers for life's problems. This is how we connect to our divine selves. Our human evolution is inevitable, but we may not have a planet to survive on. It can be heaven on earth, but where we are now, it's actually hell on earth, and can get much worse if we don't rise now. Now is the time for the warriors. Now is the time to get past your fears, like I am now, public speaking, speak your truths, and risk being called crazy, because you know it's right, and you know that the things that are happening around you are wrong. So stand up for the people and the things that can't stand up for themselves. Without us, it's not going to work. We need to all rise. How can you possibly win a war with love? There are people being killed. There are people being poisoned. It may be someone you know or someone you love. This is the true depopulation agenda, Agenda 21. This war is real, and then how can I turn my own fear and anger into love for the enemy? I am being told over and over how one person vibrating with a resonance of pure love can offset the lower frequencies of up to 750,000 others. It's like a ripple effect. It just goes out into the universe and spreads. It will also have a ripple effect, and in time help others to raise their own vibration, to come out of hiding and rise against the darkness of our time. So what does this mean? It means get your vibe on. Find your joy, the thing that you love doing that serves you and others at the same time. Don't just make ripples, make waves. Go all out, give all you can, and be all you can be. After all, this is only a game. This is a test. Make it the time of your life and try and make someone else's life better along the way. It means get off your ass, be the change you want to see, and live from the heart. Not from ego, live from the heart. Make the hard choices, because in the end, your soul will thank you for it and you will feel better for it. Pay it forward. Buy a homeless person a meal, some socks, some gloves. Give to that charity. Build a charity. Help pay for someone's groceries. Petition supermarkets and restaurants to donate their excess food to the needy. To donate imperfect produce to free food initiatives. Pick up litter. Feed stray animals. Hug your loved ones. Enjoy the sunshine and enjoy the rain. Anything that brings more love into the world. And then what? Then blog the shit out of it. Put it on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and anything else that let others see your example and turn that ripple of love into a wave. This is what the ego should be used for. Use it for good. It makes you feel good to do good, and let that vibration of love take hold until it becomes not such an extraordinary thing to be giving someone help when needed. Until we are all each other's equals and nobody wants for anything, as we all treat each other as another reflection of God. It means signing petitions and protesting against injustice. Yelling from the rooftops that we will not be silenced and that we will not go down without a fight. I fight with love. Love for others, love for our planet, love for the mystical, magical creation, and love for God. Because God is everyone, it is everywhere, it is everything. It is the universe, and it's you, and it's me. It means being fearlessly real and vibrating so high that others cannot pull you down. Love yourself and love others too. No judgment, because if we don't tidy this mess up, nobody gets out alive. Our souls will live on, but this magical, beautiful experience of our current stage of evolution in this human existence will be no more. Everything will disappear. The planet will reset, but it'll reset differently again. Do you enjoy your life? Do you enjoy the planet? Do you enjoy the way that things are? In a sense, you see the good things. Because that's what we need. We need more good. We need to put more good into the world. And more good will come of it. At the same time, we also need to pull others up on their bad habits. Not to judge, but to educate. If someone litters, if someone bullies another, if someone lives from ego, publicly but politely pull them up on it. Do not hold a grudge. We need to relearn everything and learn to live from the heart, not from ego. We need to talk about people's lack of empathy and how this dark undertow in society has caused people to become separate, not only from each other, but from themselves and their true self. Because when they take our children, they fracture their minds. They make them separate from themselves. And I've actually seen it. I've seen someone talking about themselves, their own life, and you would think they were just a crazy person, but now I can see what has happened to them in their childhood, and it's the saddest thing. I can see what they went through and the traumas they went through and how they need medication to become a functioning person, because that's what they want. They want no one to know their true self and to be in a natural state. Because to find your own vibration, it's to find connection to everyone and everything. And they don't want us to see that. They don't want us to see how everything affects everything else. Help them see and help them get back in touch with their soul, so maybe they can feel again. The pain that they cover up with medications, drugs and alcohol will not go away. It's going to be a hole in their heart forever. And the pain I feel, it's going to be forever. I see, unless something magically, miraculously happens and this whole world turns around. As the universe told me, this might be a pain I take to my grave, because to see the things I've seen, to experience the things I've seen, and the places I've been taken, it's hell. There's a hell on earth. And it's connected to everyone. And we make it. We allow it. We allow it because we're separate from ourselves. We don't pay attention to what's going on around us. We don't trust our intuition. We think, could that be real? And then we go, no, there's no way that could be real. But it is. Quite often it is. You need to learn. Everyone needs to learn to trust their intuition, because that is the universe speaking to you. The quiet voice, that's your soul speaking to you. The loud voices and the fear, that's ego. And that's your control. That's the control over you and the world at the moment. We still need to be aware of the misanthropy that is actually real in some people. Perhaps they aren't human, perhaps demonically possessed, but the fact is, some people have drowned in the darkness and now embody and spread all its horror. Hurt people. They thrive off the control and destruction of our species and planet, and they enjoy watching people hurt and suffer. It does not matter why. We need to find a way to contain it, and to identify the people who hold back the power in this world, who actually don't want our planet to evolve. They are very good at acting and playing the part of a normal, caring person. We need to replace them with others who would work to better our way of life and create calm in certain situations, instead of perpetuating wars and feeding the ego beast. I read something the other day about, wouldn't it be great if you could just get a yes or no answer, and it was the honest truth? If you could ask if a president or a prime minister was running for office, and you could outright tell if they were going to hold up to their promises, because none of them do. And it's amazing, because people just look the other way. You've already gotten your answer. No, they're not holding up their promises, and people just go along with it, and people just take it. I mean, we need to find people that are going to help and run the country, but help the country. Do the right thing. Work for minimum wage. Work for whatever other person works for, and do your job, and get paid maybe bonuses for creating better living situations and living standards for people, because the way things are going, it's a one world order. It's the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and eventually there's no middle class. It's rich or poor, and the poor won't have a leg to stand on, because the rich control the wars, they control the guns, they control the food, they control the water. In a way, they control the air. So in saying that, it's definitely not all just about meditation and good intention. It is very important that meditation is very important. It helps you ground, it helps you connect to the universe, and it helps you connect to our planet and realize we are something in between. We are of the earth, but we are not of the earth. Our DNA was brought here by an alien species and mixed with something from the earth, and here we are. And you think it's why we don't actually fit in to any ecosystem, and we seem to just move in like parasites and wreck areas, and that's what we are in a sense. We need to learn to become better species so that the planet can survive and our species can survive. And it's going to be a hard job. And there's plenty of other astral beings that have visited and are giving instruction on how to do that, and giving us cheering from behind the sidelines, and hoping that we actually make the right decision and go the right path. So meditation is very important, but that will only get us so far. So it's on us. It's about action, communication, forgiveness of others, and forgiveness of self. So whatever you've done, you don't have to confess it. You don't have to confess it to any priest. You just have to start being a better person and realizing what you want for yourself, what you want for your children, what you want for your planet. It is about feeling and finding solutions that better our planet and our soul in all situations. This is our story to write, and we are all in the final chapters, so let's try and make it a good ending. And I was full of fear writing this. When I pressed publish on the website, my hands were shaking and I felt sick to the stomach because I thought they're just going to end me. But I was so happy, in a sense. It just made everyone almost go back to normal. I wasn't being watched so closely. I wasn't being followed for quite a while, but they tried to ignore me, in a sense. It made them all go away, but they're still there, and they're still doing these things. It is a scary thought that perhaps there will be a more forceful attempt on my life than what the dark ones have already tried. And then I think, what better way to justify the truth of what I say, though? If someone were to murder me for speaking out, this is what they usually do to those that pose a threat to their establishment. The recent murder, and it was a murder of Chester Bennington, he was caught up in this, and he wanted out, and he knew some of the more higher up people. See, I am just a low person. I'm an everyday person that's in this mess, born of the darkness. Chester knew too much, and if he wanted out, there's no way out without speaking, and he didn't speak. He didn't speak fast enough. Maybe he threatened the wrong person that he was going to speak, but he should have spoken. He should have said everything, and he should have said it publicly, because the more you shout it from the rooftops, the more people hear. And I see Katy Perry having little breakdowns, and I see other stars having little breakdowns and speaking some of this truth, the horrors that they've seen and the things they do to children. It's true, and I hope you believe it. It is not safe to speak, and it never will be. It is even less safe not to speak, as you can see. They have murdered many prophets, but this has made the message live on. Messages of unity and oneness, of love for self and love for others. The murder somehow leaves a tragic legacy, and more people become aware of the message than ever would have if the person was left to protest in peace. So maybe my message will reach the right person, and like I said, that's what I'm here for. I'm not really here to wake people up. I'm here to reach my hand out for the people that are caught up in this and have to bite their tongues and live a second life, a double life, and do these things to their children maybe, and know what the cabal do, and feel sick to the stomach and have to take medications or drug themselves to function because they feel like they can't forgive themselves. I'm here. I'm here to talk to you. That's what I'm here for. If you want to add me on Skype, the email address I've used is angela5hargrave@bigpond.com. I'm on Facebook, Angela Hargrave. And I have a page called Universal Vegan. Weird shit on that page, but hey, you can contact me anyway. Universal Vegan on Instagram as well. And the website that this is all published on is www.betterdaysolutions.com. It may be that this truth is what redeems the world from hell, from becoming a slave planet full of empty souls. Or it may be that this message reaches only one person and it saves their life. Either way, my mission will have been a success. I'm being told the ripple effect will be much greater if I make the right decision and publish this. The threat to humanity. Have you heard of people being taken in their sleep to other dimensions? Of dark entities visiting in the night and a person being unable to move? Of people having such lucid dreams that they awake to find a scratch or a bruise on their body that happened in their dream? The fact is, these things are really happening. They take you to places and they drug you. They drug you with opiates so you can't actually see the reality of what you're seeing. You see it as something else, a dream. People look like zombies, people look like pirates, people look like something else you feel. This is the first great unveiling. If I am being thought of as crazy for revealing these truths, so be it. I would prefer to be thought of as crazy by a society that is inherently sick than to try to fit in. There is a deceptive dimension to our everyday lives that we as normal loving people are unaware of. I myself would never have guessed it, never have dreamt of it in my worst nightmares. My whole life was a lie, and I look around now and see that so many other people's lives are too. The cabal have infiltrated society with pre-arranged partnerships and marriages. They are working hard at making sure that every good person is paired with one of their dark workers. This is to stop humanity from evolving. At a certain time in their life, the good person is shown these truths. Not openly, I realize. I liken it to the movie Fight Club. Welcome to Fight Club. The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. They wait for you to realize and ask if things are real, if the things you've seen are real. And then they tell you. And then they threaten you to keep you silent or to make you go along with it if you don't agree. Some people agree. Some people go along with it. They like the drugs, they like the feeling, and they like the euphoria of controlling people, and they get off on it. And those people are sick. They're sick because their minds have been so fractured. That's the thing. They've already been touched by the illuminati when they were young, and their minds are fractured, and that's why they're so sick. And I don't know how to heal them, and I don't know if they can be healed. The good person is drugged, often during sex, but sometimes in food or drink. Then they are taken to witness one of the places of debauchery and torture. They may have dreams of being raped or of your loved ones being raped, and the torture of children. Being hunted in the woods and having to run for your life. You may dream of yourself hurting your loved ones, behaving in a way that you would never have unless you were under the influence of something. If you didn't have the devil whispering in your ear to carry out such inhumane acts. You may hurt yourself or remember being hit in your dream, and when you wake up you have the same injury. It's a hard thing to hide, and often it's put off as you did it to yourself somehow. How did that bruise happen? How did that scratch happen? And your loved one, that is the one doing it to you, will be the one that draws your attention to it, so as to deflect attention from the attention from them. Like, they noticed it. What have you done to yourself? And make you question, what have you done to yourself? Gaslighting, in a way, making you think in the opposite direction instead of thinking. that happened in that dream? Could that dream have been real? If the good person, if they are wise enough to realize these dreams are actually happening, I'd say then they are told the truth of the world, or given hints so that they might bring up the topic themselves. They are then given the decision to go along with it, and if you don't do as they say, you and your whole family will die. They will control you through fear of death. And they had me fearful. But I realized I have to let them in to be able to hurt me. Unless they send an assassin. I mean, a bullet will stop me, straight up. But, like I said, I've already said too much and it will look suspicious. So, more than likely, they just leave me alone and point the finger and call me crazy. That's okay, because I know there's people out there that suffer in silence and can't stand this anymore. And instead of killing yourself, instead of doing that, just walk away. Find that strength in yourself to know that you deserve better and walk away. And don't keep quiet. Talk about it. Talk about it publicly, because that's the only way people are going to see, and people are going to change, and the children are going to see before they're given this dark path and threatened and controlled through fear. The children can see and find their own strength to be able to say no to this. So when I was told these things and given these hints, I just played dumb. And I listened to my angels who guided me to safety. I listened to the universe and the downloads I was getting and the messages I was getting from lots of different places, through songs, through the radio, through movies, through nature, through things people said as they passed me by, through people's whispers that somehow came across the breeze and I heard. I was shown things, and I was shown the reality of this world. And it was enough to think I'm crazy. It was enough to think I'm schizophrenic. I'm hearing things. How could I have heard that? But it was just the universe giving me a little help, a little boost. Not superpowers, but just a little boost every now and again, and to show me what is possible and what will be possible if we help our children heal and we help the planet heal. And like I said, they might take you, they might drug you, but that's if you're lucky. If it is already decided that the good person will not convert and not yield to this dark force, then the other way of dealing with humans is to just make them sick, causing cancers and illness, slowly killing them so it may look like natural causes. And this I realized as I was suffering a debilitating illness called multiple sclerosis. It seemed to be very advanced, and my muscles and feeling in my legs was deteriorating quite fast. And all these problems subsided once I was aware and removed toxic people from my life. It was like a punch in the head. That really woke me up. That there was actually people doing this to their loved ones, people they say they love, poisoning them, feeding them full of heavy metals in their food, drink. I see so many people in their children dying of cancers, and they're causing this. They're allowing this to happen. And I've heard one say, "It is the way it is." How can you say that? How can you just say it is the way it is? Your life is worth more than the next person's life. Everyone's life is worth something. And that's what they've told me, the collective have told me. Everyone, the dark and the light, everyone is being called home. They want everyone to ascend. They want everyone to find their way. And it might take lifetimes. They said it'll happen. I realized the messages I was receiving were real enough to help me get help. I was shown a phone number 3 times over the few months that I became awakened to this illusion of life. And the day I started using my old phone of my daughter's, again soon after I got a new mobile phone, and again after I got new home phones. They can tap your phones, they can monitor your calls so that you can't call for help, or they know when trouble's coming for them so they can get things sorted, so they can pull apart their dungeons of hell and make the people disappear that they keep as captives and become normal people again. So if trouble does come knocking, they look like normal people. And so I had these phones, and I realized why I was being shown them at these times when I got new phones, when I got a new phone, and when I bought a new phone set. And I also realized that the phone I was using, I'd been shown it and I'd already left it like a week or too long to call for help, because here I am fighting my mind going, could this be real? Could people I love be doing these things? And your mind is saying, no, it couldn't be real. They say they love you. These things couldn't happen. And I realized they were. I realized I had to trust myself. The universe was telling me to trust myself. And the phones that I bought had 2 handsets. And I realized I hadn't even connected one handset, and it was still hidden in the box, and I don't think anyone had realized there was even a second handset to the home phone that I bought. So I pulled it out of the box and I put the charged battery in it, and I turned the music up around my house, because I know that they had devices to watch what was going on, because they were scared I was going to call for help, because this is the point where someone's going to go one way or another. They're either going to give in, or they're going to run with their hands flailing in the air and going, oh my God, what have I seen? Call for help, call police, because police are meant to help you. But you know, some of them are in on this as well. And like I said, I already had programmed the police officer that I should call, because he was the one that they didn't trust, but they really do trust, because he's in on it. They've programmed you to make you think, oh, that person doesn't trust that person, so I'll go to that person and talk. When the thing is, they're all in on it. And I was shown this phone number each time I got the new handsets. And like I said, I'm in New South Wales. It was in another state, this task force that had been created. And I'm not sure exactly why the task force was created, because they haven't really busted anyone or anything. But obviously there was a light worker working there, at least one, who knew my message was real. Looked through the veil and came to town and helped. And they logged every person that was part of the network. And I don't know what the point of this was. I don't know if it's so that they could take it higher and keep tracking further up the chain and find out who the Grand Master is. People already know who the Grand Master is. Actually, was some obscure message through Facebook told me that the leader of the Illuminati or something, the Grand Dodd, or I can't remember exactly, was in Australia at the time when I had made the call, and you know, when things were going one way or another, was in Australia. And I think it's all connected. So the universe was yelling at me, and I realized the messages, and I got help, and I called this phone number, and they came to town and they followed people and they did things and they monitored the town, and still a year later nothing's happened. They might be still watching these people, but odds are they can't bust the whole network. They couldn't bust everyone. You know, to bust everyone in the world, every second person. Can't do that. And the thing is, some of these people are actually good people. They just do bad things because they're scared and because they may love their children. They allow the Illuminati to hurt their children because they love their children and they don't want them to die. But like I said, the only way they're going to kill your children is if you let them. So monitor the people you surround yourself with. Monitor your food. Control your food. Control what you put into your body. Control the drinks you drink. Don't let people serve you your drinks. Buy something off the shelf that everyone else buys, because they're not going to poison everyone. If they're after you, it's going to be a more personal thing, isn't it? They can't just poison the whole lot of product on the shelf that everyone buys, including you. So make your own food. So I was told about chakras and kundalini. I was shown how to feel my energy and use my energy and make my own energy grow, and how to draw energy from above, from the universe and from the earth, and how to become a current for energy from the earth to the heavens. And a lot of people already do this, but I think more people need to, because it's going to raise the whole planet's vibration. The planet is screaming at the moment and wants help. It's screaming for help and it wants help. And then we do little things on the surface. We need to work with the energy as well, because everything is energy. And it was pretty crazy for a while. And these are the things why I thought I was crazy, but it was just the universe helping me find myself again, and helping me find safety and see this reality and see through the illusion. For a while I was given extra abilities, a sort of ESP. I had moments of clairaudience, claircognizance, clairsentience. I was shown that this is the power that humanity has, and we have just forgotten our divinity. And messages came in dreams. And like I said, music from a distant part of town floated across the wind and made me hear it louder than obviously anyone else heard it, because people would have been, what was that? How did that get so loud all of a sudden? Like people I knew, and that's what broke my heart, when people I knew whispered to each other, "Do you think she knows?" "No, I don't think she knows." And it came through as if someone had just said it right next to my head. And it made me see how deep this deception is. I thank the gods. I thank the gods. They showed me the moments I needed. They showed me in the moments that I needed, and it helped save my life. I was able to see people's micro-expressions, their glances towards people. I could tell if something had been poisoned, or could easily sense the poison in my system, when before my body had not been so sensitive. So, before I fully knew what was going on with food and things, I could feel it go into my system, and then I could feel the aching in my joints, and then I could see the discoloration in hands, or I could feel the twitches. Oh, that's another thing. Watch your makeup and watch the cosmetics and pharmaceuticals and shampoos and body washes that you use if you're around someone that might be harming you, because that's an easy way for your body to absorb these poisons and these toxins to make you unwell. But I was given, so before I just thought I was unwell, but then I was given and shown where the things were coming from. where the poison was coming from. So I threw out a lot of stuff. I could see the emotion on people's faces of fear or hatred, and I could sense their evil. I could also sense their pain and anguish when I came across one of them who did not want to be living that life anymore. That's when I was told I was an empath. I can see the tiny spark of light that even the darkest soul still carries. I can understand that these actions are carried out because of fear, either for themselves or for another they do love, through fear of death and the unknown. And that's my message too. This isn't all there is. The Cabal want you to live in the moment and not think of the future and think this is all there is, so make the most of it right here, right now. And in a sense, that's right. But you have to realize that there's more to the universe than this existence. This isn't all there is. And we have to find our own power to be able to escape this cycle that's going on this planet, so they can take the top off our planet's evolution and let us keep growing and keep moving through the universe. Because they talk about shapeshifters and they talk about reptilians on Earth. It's us. It's who we are. We are the evil. We are the ones with ego. And we are the ones that have to learn to control our own ego and make the hard choices, but the right choices. Because eventually, the right choices will be the easy choice. Again, I mean, way back when, to make some of these choices would have been a hard thing. To choose to kill a loved one, it would have been the hard thing. But now, right now, it seems for these people, it's the easiest choice to make. Get yourself on some medication so you don't feel so bad, and do what you have to do, because that's the way things are. But this is the hard choice right now, for me to stand up and speak out against it and risk being called crazy. It's okay. I had suspicions that the Cabal had somehow tapped my phones and had video surveillance of me. I grabbed one of the newest phones, turned my music up, went to my room and made the call. I understood I would have sounded like a crazy lady. A tale of being drugged and raped and suffocated, about missing children and being taken in the night, with connections to the Illuminati and threats to my life. The Cabal have children who are missing persons. I now realize why they are still missing. These are children that have been abducted and taken for the pleasure of the Cabal and its followers. As I see, children are the highest form of currency with these darkened souls. They were packed up and moved out of town as soon as they realized I was suspicious. It had already been a few weeks before I even made the call, and it was such a hard reality to accept. And the one child I know that they've got is William Tyrell, a missing child taken, and he hasn't been found. But you know, his grandparents are a part of this. They're a part of this scene, and they can call me crazy and they can say, no way, not us, which every one of them would do because they want to be normal people. This child is still with them. And there's another man who may be the one who cares for the children, who takes the children to their different places of torture. A very big man, older man, maybe in his 60s, 70s. Silver, grey, bald hair, very large, smells putrid, smells bad of body odor and sweat. I came across him multiple times and I was told he was someone else, a different name, a different person. So when I actually did name this person, it turned out to be a completely different person. It wasn't the person I'd witnessed. Nevertheless, someone came. A whole task force came to town. Vans, watching lots of different people in different cars, using somehow electronic devices to be able to trace people, and tap phones and look into things. And I hope they didn't disappear too quickly, because as soon as the Illuminati and the dark people realized that I had made the call, they had me labeled as crazy, in a sense. Temporary insanity. It's not temporary. The world's insane. Nevertheless, someone came. The whole town was forewarned by another person on a local notice board page, but it gave me hope. Someone heard my call and I thought I was going to be rescued. And because the town already knew, the police set up this sort of cover assault, so everyone was looking and going, oh, the police must be here for this assault and arrest, and trying to make the community not notice, but it didn't work. I thought it was really funny, because our little town, there's a lot of pot, there's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of seedy people. I thought it was funny as I could see all the acting in the scenes. I could see, I was still thinking in the third dimension, and I thought they were all just undercover police and bad actors, but I realized some of them are light workers. And when they came to town, it was like everyone cleared out. Boats, the seas were rough, and boats went out to sea would have been loaded with drugs and stuff that wasn't legal. Lots of things happened in that time, but nothing has happened in this little situation that I've talked about. Honestly, I thought I was going a little crazy and could see people's true intentions. I could hear things that were whispered between people. I could see the coincidences, codes in numbers, and messages from nature, and it was all too much. It was like, they talk about the rabbit hole. I just woke up at the bottom of the rabbit hole, and I've had to climb my way back to the top, and I can still look back and I can still see it all, but I'm functioning. I was in no way religious. I might mention I still am not, though I now know our existence is controlled by a force much greater than we know. They revealed themselves, and they described themselves as the collective consciousness of the universe, the ones who can shape our reality by subtle changes and serendipitous events. They are not allowed by the Creator God to actually tell us what to do. They can give us options and make us see the best solution in a situation, but all in all, this is our reality, and we make the decisions here. And we don't make our decisions at the moment. The cabal feed us our decisions. They tell us what to believe. They tell us what to like. They tell us what to eat. They tell us everything. They tell us, look at this chemtrail. What's going on here? They actually tell us that so that we don't look closer at ourselves and our world and our energy and see through it all and see that we are a part of nature and we are connected to the universe, and we have to find that again to be able to survive. The next day, the undercover people were here in my hometown. It was election day. In Australia, it was election day. It was quite weird. And I could see the police, the undercover police, and they were monitoring people's messages in the area, standing around with their own little phones, monitoring who was messaging who. Then I received an obscure death threat whilst in line to vote. And they saw that I was threatened. The nod. Like I said, I was seeing micro expressions, and I was seeing people make eye contact when things happened that you wouldn't normally notice. You would just pass off as nothing, but I could see how it was all connected. It was good to hear that the police had followed these people and photographed their houses sometime later as well. And they took photographs of people's houses, I hadn't even pointed the finger at these people. The police were able to track who they were and take photographs of their houses. So obviously they're on a list or being watched, maybe. So here, I arrived in my red van. I had dyed my hair purple when I would normally have gone for blue, and I had motorbike boots on and this handbag that I had borrowed off my daughter. And I had second thoughts about the shirt I was wearing and had changed before I left. All these things were significant when God, or my higher self, showed me that some chapters in Revelations in the Bible. My mind was reeling. What? Really? How could this be? And why me? Why me? I can remember see the universe looking out for me, even though I didn't believe in any of this. I just thought I was crazy. And I went somewhere and my car broke down. And it was lucky where I had broken down, because I had stopped halfway down this road that I was going before I hit the highway. I had stopped to try and choose a song on my phone, so I sat there with the car idling for maybe 5 minutes while I was choosing a song to listen to. There are a few songs in a playlist to listen to for my trip back. So if I hadn't sat there for those 5 minutes, my car would have broken down on the highway in traffic. But it was all meant to be. So I broke down maybe 20 meters from the highway. The car just stopped in the middle of the road, just stopped. Brakes went on, everything stopped, like it froze. So the alternator had gone, and it just sort of made the whole car stop. And if it had happened in the middle of the road, in the middle of a highway, in the night, it would have been really dangerous. But in a sense, the universe was looking out for me and had made me want to listen to this song, because they'd already showed me this song. That made me want to listen to this song again. So I had looked it up. That's what I was doing. I looked up a song and I was putting it on to listen to, because like I said, many messages in songs, and many depths to those messages. You get a bit of a clue, and then something else makes sense, and go, oh, that was the meaning of that. So I was stuck for hours on the side of the road, on this dirt road that led to the highway. And I was just asking the universe, why me? And being told that because I am strong enough to handle this, and I am strong enough to see this and stand up against this. It's crazy. Because I spent my whole childhood wondering why I was different and why I didn't really fit in. And I can see why now. This is my soul path. This is my purpose. And it's not a happy one. It's really horrible to see and experience. And they tell me how our emotions aren't real. And none of this is real, but it is real in a sense. It's still hard to come to terms with, because here I am, once again. It feels real. And it is real. And it is a dream at the same time. Because after this, do we go somewhere else? Or do we just do this again? I believe they were in town to break this ring open, and they had the technology that was able to intercept messages and were able to log many of the cabal's number plates as they drove past my house continuously, monitoring to see if the police came to talk with me. And that was the strangest thing. I lived in a quiet street that has gone back to being a quiet street now. And it was just too obvious. People driving past every 5 minutes, almost on the dot. Every 5 minutes, someone driving past. And then messaging. as they drove up the road, or sending a message back to say, I don't know, say what? Say all clear? Say nothing's going on? To say I'm still alive? And I smoked cigarettes, and I smoked so many cigarettes because I was so stressed. And I sat on my balcony on this headland, and I just smoked, and I smoked, and I smoked. And I still didn't really know what was going on. I thought it was just police and a pedophile ring and some bad people. And then as things went on, it became more and more apparent how big it was and how it's everywhere. So they drove past to see if the police came to talk to me. And the good guys were able to photograph many people's houses that are involved in this secret society and track their web far away. I initially thought it was a little thing and named the people involved. And it was so devastating to see so many people I knew, people I loved, who were a part of this somehow. I hope my call was the first crack in the illusion, and the veil is coming down. The impenetrable walls of a secret society have been breached. People tried to have me labelled as having had a mental breakdown to throw the police off the trail. And I was having a breakdown in a way. I saw the world for what it really was. It was too much to take in such a short time. It wasn't even until a mental health worker they sent me to asked me if I was getting messages from God that I came to grips with what was happening. So I thought I was just going crazy. I thought I was hearing things. But don't they say crazy people think they're completely sane? Because I still look at what I went through and the things that I saw and the things that have come through, the messages that have come through, and I could think, that's crazy. That's not the reality that I knew, but that's because I was asleep. And most of the world is happily asleep, which in a sense adds to the good vibration of this planet, because they're happily asleep. They're not creating good energy, they're not creating bad energy, they just are. But we need more people creating good energy and doing good to make this planet rise. I see now that there were many light workers involved too. They communicated with me through hidden meanings in words and messages. Number plates, bumper stickers, giving me looks at the cash register at the supermarket. Silent instructions. The thing is, the collective, my higher self, had already given me the instruction, and I understood completely just from a glance and a smile. I have a feeling that these people had clairvoyant and clairsentience abilities, because I think a lot of people have been born with these abilities and not damaged in the sense that our children are being damaged. And then they're able to accept their abilities and they're able to strengthen their abilities. And that's the way the world's going, if we can get past this. The Cabal already knew who I was, and they must have confirmed it by the fact that in those fabricated dreams I didn't run and I turned to fight. So one dream where they had children, my children, other people's children, running for their lives and someone chasing them, I turned to fight. I turned to fight this entity that was chasing everyone. I don't think many people would fight. Another dream, I screamed, "Save him," when I saw a child suffering. I'd fight my way through the crowd of empty souls who were just laughing and shrugging their shoulders. I'd stand and stare the Nazi devil in the face while he took a punch and knocked me out. Torturing children and everyone just laughing about it. It is sickening. I initially had thought they were dreams, but the bruise to the side of my head from that knockout hit in my dream, it hurt for weeks, and they drugged me to hide the pain for a while. That was one of the factors that made me realize this was real. So I was on drugs. I was being given opiates to hide the pain as well. As I look back and I realize I was driving the children to school, and the lights, the way things were like coming through into my brain, and I didn't even realize what was going on. And watching my child play a video game and just seeing the lights being brighter and more luminescent and just trippy. And then they sort of weaned me off it, I suppose. But the bruise was still there, and my whole jaw ached for about another 2 weeks at least, which made me realize that it actually happened, that these dreams were real. Once I put it together and saw a safe way to call and who to trust with this information, I made the call. I realized I had been drugged continuously for a couple of weeks to try and stop the pain from the king hit I had been dealt in my dream, and to stop me getting suspicious. The thing is, I'm more suspicious of seeing stars when I'm driving down the street in the day to collect my children from school, or of seeing weird psychedelic colours in a computer game that is normally very dull. I look back now and I see how obvious it was, but like any normal trusting person, I would not have suspected. I took myself to the doctor to get a hair analysis test for opiates, as it had been a few weeks since I was drugged, and there would be no trace in my urine. The previous patient was one of the cabal, and the doctor I soon realized as well. I was told they do not do hair analysis in Australia. A blatant lie. I still had no idea of what I was up against, and like I said, I thought it was a small thing. I am being told to write this fast and get this out to the public, as I am still in great danger. So here I am, asking why me? The answer was that I was one of God's strongest warriors. I face my fears, and even in the hopeless situation, I can see a way out. That this place on earth where I live had such a low vibration or frequency. The universe needed me to be here, to ground the negative energy and add my positive energy to the grid, so that Gaia may be able to keep raising her frequency and awaken more people to love. None of this is coincidence, and it all had to happen this way, this time. It was all prophesized, and it was seen, and everything went to plan. And now it's up to us to raise the vibration, and it's up to me to keep talking and keep my throat chakra clear and keep talking and showing people the way out. The collective laugh at the fact that even though I woke up to this quite late, they yelled at me for quite a while, for months, yelling at me to wake up. Later than other versions of myself, I still haven't quit. I dream of different ways to make the world better, and I try to be the best I can be, not pass on my pain to anyone else. I have the message that it's not too late for us, and we still have time. But time, as they would say, is late. It is going to take a lot of strength and courage and camaraderie to bring this world up to scratch. We need to educate our children and teach them young what we have learnt so late. This is the hardest thing, releasing this information, not because of fear of the repercussions for myself, but because of the fact that some people may get hurt in the process, and I don't want to hurt people. I am tired of carrying this pain alone. This is the only way we can work through this, by being open and feeling our pain and working on it and working through it. The message to talk from the heart. So I am honestly telling you that this is not the full depth of the rabbit hole. Most of the population is still asleep to these deceptive tactics and will remain so. This is so they get the most out of their lives. It is a dark place to see the world for what it really is. Someone asked me, what right do I have to try and wake the masses? I don't, but it is my duty to communicate my feelings. The world needs my realness because there is too much deception going on. Deception between religions and followers, between governments and their people, deception between families and friends. The universe has rejoiced in the fact they see me as an authentic soul, and so real and so raw. They have told me that I am one of the 144,000, that there are more out there who have either seen or have eyes to see and ears to hear this message, and they will be receptive. If some people do not, they will exit this life and then change the next round. They will be more awakened, as the world around them will have changed by then. So here I am, bearing it all. Think me crazy for what I say, or the fact that I would stand alone against the evil while so many people go along with it. I'm thinking of the children and making a way for the next generation to come through without being harmed. The true healers of our planet, who can set us on the right course for full planetary ascension. I am an indigo child, and I am here to break down the barriers of the old ways that no longer serve us. I hope someone will fight with me. Who will fight with me? Who will stand up against this and say, I am one and I don't agree? I need more people. I know plenty of people know of the Illuminati and disagree with the Illuminati, but they don't know how the Illuminati actually works and how they keep their power. And this is how they keep their power. They've got everyday people voting them in, or talking the good people around to voting them into office, to helping them keep their control on the planet. They're being allowed to by people, by us. We are the Illuminati. Every single person that chooses ego over love, a person that makes the easy decision and throws their rubbish out the window instead of holding onto it till they get to the next bin. Every single person that can't have appreciation for nature and our world and thinks it's just here for us to use and take from what we will. That's another thing. The divine taught me of my divinity and my connection to nature, and how humanity has its vibration lowered through negative implants, negative thoughts, negative control, being taught negative things, being taught to think negatively about themselves. But it's also the way we eat and the foods we eat that are full of preservatives and full of poisons, in a sense. And the fact that we eat meat, because meat, and like this, the universe says it is the way it is, but meat is a lower vibration. It is so the energy comes from the sun and to the plants. And if you're eating plants, you're getting the energy first-handed. But if you're eating an animal who would have eaten those plants, you're getting the energy second-hand. And if you're eating an animal who ate another animal that ate the plants, you're getting the energy third-hand. And it's lowering your vibration. So they called on me to become vegan, and that is another life-saving thing for me. It has allowed me to keep my vibration high enough to function, because it's really hard. It's really hard to keep my energy and my positivity, because to look at the way the world's running, and to look at the wars, and to look at the children that are starving, and know that we caused this, but we can change it, and people choose not to. It's a really hard thing. I cry a lot, and I smile a lot too. I rejoice in the good times, and I make my way through the bad times, because, like they said, this is a test. This existence is a test, and you need to rise. We need to raise our vibration and make our planet a better place to live for everyone. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you again soon.